Hello everybody, and you're very welcome to this session of Successful Perspectives. Successful Perspectives, of course, is when we deep dive into a topic. On this session, we'll be talking about healthcare with one of our members from our very selective and very influential network, which is Boardroom by EMIR. I'm delighted to be joined by my friend Vincenzo Ventricelli, who, of course, is the CEO for Middle East, Turkey and Africa at Philips. Vincenzo, it is wonderful to have you here on the beautiful The Boat by address. Thank you so much for your time, and it's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Trevor, and actually it's my pleasure. Fantastic setting, and happy to have this conversation.
We've gone through this period of the pandemic, and obviously we understand a lot of the negative ramifications of the pandemic. In your view, when you look at healthcare as a healthcare leader, what are some of the optimistic trends that have come out of healthcare because of the pandemic?
One is the acceleration of a certain trend that was already there. And here we talk, Trevor, old area related to connected care, telemedicine, and this jump from analogic to a really digital and connected care. I think this is extremely positive because in this way, it will be easier to get to what we call the quadruple aim of healthcare. So the ability at the same time to improve the quality of health that we deliver, but at the same time improve the experience of the patients, the experience of the staff, and at a lower cost. So through digital, connected, and telehealth. So this is one of the positive trends.
And if I can jump in there, right? So that's a great point. Let's unpack that a little bit. Say on the remote telemedicine side of things, okay? We've seen there, according to what you're saying, this great acceleration that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. How long do you think that would have taken if the pandemic hadn't have happened?
There's been a leap of about 10 years, from what we were looking at a few months ago, a couple of years ago, to now. We said there's been a clear leap of 10 years.
With this digital transformation and with this acceleration of the pace of this transformation that we're seeing, what do you think are the best ways for governments to actually approach this transformation with regards to technology?
In this context, what we do as Philips, we ask the healthcare leaders globally. So we ran a global survey. It's called Future Health Index, to understand what they see are the priorities and the most important topic in the development in the healthcare. And through this survey that we just got the result very recently, it's clear that digitization, data sharing is where we and the healthcare sector need to go. So government in that context need to be equipped to enable this connectivity and this digital transformation. And this is happening through telemedicine. Let me give you an example. In Saudi, we have activated the first telecardiology network worldwide, connecting 8 sites all across Saudi in remote areas with a command center in Riyadh. Cardiologists can share images and information with a command center where you have the best expert that can advise on the best treatment for patients all over the kingdom. This was happening there. Now this is accelerating in Saudi, in all areas. We are talking telepathiology, pathology, teleradiology, tele-ICU, but it's happening here in UAE, Middle East, and I said also we have started interesting talk in Africa, Egypt, for instance.
And so the outcome of that, when you boil it down, the outcome of that is it should be better patient outcomes because patients are getting access in remote areas to the best medical attention that they could have got otherwise, right?
Through this kind of network, you can really standardize at very high level of quality because you get to the best of, for instance, this network can offer. And in that context, you can standardize no matter where you are, even in huge geography or maybe in geographies that are under development, to the best quality of care. One of the challenges that we have in healthcare is the burnout and the lack of qualified staff. By this connectivity, you can manage better your staff. You can enable your staff to deliver a better quality, supported by a core team, and therefore you can also have a better experience for staff. And overall, when all these dots are put together and in the middle long term, you achieve better result at a lower cost of care, because there is an initial cost of setting this infrastructure, and probably one of the initial costs is the change management, because one of the key things about this revolution of digitization is not much so the software and the connectivity is potentially easy, but these require a completely different way of working from the staff. And that's the challenge that we are in, how we work with our customers, our hospital, government, in making sure that everyone is buying in this new way of working.
And when you connect those dots, and I sit here and I listen to your analysis and I start to think further into the future of playing this out a little bit, to me it sounds like the role of partnerships becomes very important.
Yeah.
The role of the strength of IT infrastructure in order to do this. How do you see that looking in the future in terms of the importance for healthcare?
When we think about this transformation in kind of digital health, one element is that this complex ecosystem in healthcare needs strong partnership. So out of this survey that I was talking to you about, more than, I'd say, 50% of the health leaders understand that strong partnership and collaboration is required. And the interesting point is that collaboration not only within the healthcare industry or system, but also beyond. And let me give you an example. So in order to manage this digitization, you need to have very strong infrastructure, IT infrastructure. That's why, for instance, at Philips, we have signed important MOU in UAE, for instance, with DO, in Saudi with STC, and now we are in discussion in Kuwait and in other markets. So the ecosystem become much broader, but the opportunity also become more interesting. And maybe one other point when we talk about the digitization, to complete a bit the picture. So digital transformation through telehealth, strong collaboration and partnership within healthcare and beyond. The other is, and this is coming very strongly from the healthcare leaders, it's about the importance of AI, so artificial intelligence, machine learning, to get to predictive technologies and predictive analytics. There is a staggering number. So 98% of healthcare leaders in Saudi are prioritizing investment in artificial intelligence and predictive analytics. In US, to give you another data point, 80%. So as often happen in this region, so Middle East, it's really on the forefront of the change.
Let's shift lanes slightly, because sustainability is now a topic, and rightly so, that runs across the gamut of all different sectors. From a healthcare perspective, how is sustainability playing a role, particularly for what CEOs are thinking? And what's your take on this moving into this decade?
Yeah. Key point, and really very high on our agenda as health technology company. So high and so important that our CEO, Frans van Houten, have been already since few years out on the public explaining our sustainability objective target. And beyond that, this has become really part of our vision, purpose, and strategy. So as health tech company, we aim to improve the lives of 2.5 billion people a year by the 2025. But more importantly, we want to do is through innovation, meaningful innovation, and this was already there since decade, but through acting with integrity towards the planet and society. So really sustainability, green approach has become part of our vision, purpose, and strategy.
So Vincenzo, just following on from that point on sustainability, just to go a little bit deeper, what advice would you give to other CEOs on the best way to think about sustainability, or the real way to approach it in your view? So
sustainability shouldn't be a tick in the box exercise. It should be, as a CEO, we need to act with really a genuine intent, and real integrity. And let me give you a personal example to make it a bit more maybe understandable. I have a father of 3 kids. They are young adults now. And our type of conversation is changed recently about important topic around the world and sustainability, climate changes, and what we can do is one of the discussions that we have often. And my daughter, specifically my eldest, is very interested in that. Recently we were talking, they were asking me about investment, how to invest money. I'm not guru in that area, but of course I have developed in the years some idea and some strategy. So I was talking to them about the need of diversifying investment in indices through ITF. And when I was explaining a bit how does it work, so these indexes is a combination of company that are there, my daughters, the eldest, told me, yeah, interesting, but Dad, I don't want to invest my money in companies that I don't know exactly what they're doing, and not what they are producing, but exactly how they are acting. And I think this is an important point, because if we don't take this sustainability at the core of our strategy, not only we will not do good to the world and to our company, but really we run the risk to be out of business, because the new generation are very sensitive, and now they will not invest. They will not look at company that have not this at their core.
This is an excellent point, Vincenzo, because when you think about it, the next generation of retail investors, like your eldest daughter, they're turning against this, or I should say they're focusing more on what companies are really doing with regards to sustainability. And in addition to that, on the other side of things, institutional investors are also beginning that process. So for companies not to really get serious about it is ultimately self-defeating. And I think that's only going to accelerate over the course of this decade. Vincenzo, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on Successful Perspectives. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Trevor. My pleasure, and anytime.
Thank you.